A large dying Colorado blue spruce was recently removed. Grass seed was then broadcasted to continue the lawn. Removing the stump and massive root system was not in the budget, so trying to mow and maintain the lawn has been very challenging. What a perfect opportunity to reconsider this small piece of land. Instead of trying to grow a lawn where it does not want to grow and where it's difficult to maintain, why not work with the conditions that we already have? Let us not fight the site. Before you get to work, it's important to write down a list of goals for the site, and then do your research. We're looking for low maintenance, drought tolerant, beautiful, and plants that support our local wildlife. Now that we have our goals, let's get to work on removing the lawn around this stump. You will need the right tools for the job. Here is a lower back saving device called a sod cutter, a must for removing any areas of lawn, followed by your common garden edger. And then, of course, your handy-dandy Hori Hori, a underutilized garden tool that has served many gardeners over the centuries. Start by marking off the size of your new garden bed. Then simply start cutting manageable sized chunks of lawn with the garden edger, making sure to get down as deep as you can with the garden edger blade. Next, use your angled sod cutter blade to slice underneath the lawn's root system. This tool can really save your back. Now, here comes some of the hard work. Oh look, a worm. Let's put them back where they belong. Here you go, my little friend. It's a lot of work, but it will be worth it. It's starting to come along pretty good. Here is my trusted Hori Hori, great for cutting and weeding in these difficult sites. The garden bed is shaping up nicely. It's a good idea to define your garden edge with a little bit more detail now that the sod has been removed. Use your basic garden edger again, but this time to really define your garden edge. And of course, there is no tool that can substitute the hands of the gardener, so go along the edge just one more time, but this time with your hands. Now that's a smooth, well-defined garden edge. Before we lug all this sod to the compost pile, let's take a rest for a moment and enjoy this beautiful day. I love watching robins in the springtime. What interesting little creatures. And look at this little guy. And there goes a red-tailed hawk. Watch out, squirrels. All right, back to work. Let's get this sod to the compost pile. Wow, that is a lot of sod. One of our goals for this site was for it to be low maintenance and not make any extra work for ourselves. That is why we will be choosing plants that do not require any special inputs, such as compost or fertilizer. There is already a pre-existing native shrub growing in this area. This shrub is called the bayberry and has become the inspiration for the other native plants that we will choose for this garden. Taking inspiration from the bayberry, let's head to our local nursery to find some other native plants. Goldenrod is a must. This late summer bloomer will benefit hundreds of pollinating insects. This plant will also serve as a host species for many insects to complete their life cycle. Do not be alarmed if you find a large insect gall on your goldenrod plant. This gall is made inside the goldenrod stem by an insect called the goldenrod gallfly. This gall acts as a nursery for the larvae of the goldenrod gallfly. During a harsh New England winter, when food is scarce, these galls can be a lifesaver to our overwintering birds who will feed on the larvae inside. This is why it's important to not cut back your garden in the fall, but rather wait until the spring. Mountain mint is such a pretty plant. From a design perspective, it's best when planted in drifts. Its frosted bracts give a feeling of continuity in the garden. It also smells fantastic when brushed upon while working in the garden. The mountain mint's silvery foliage should blend well with our glossy leaves of the bayberry shrub. I believe no garden is complete without adding some grasses. There are many to choose from. In this small garden, I feel the rugged little blue stem would be best. Native grasses add structure to the garden, as well as four-season interest. Just look at the seed heads of this little blue stem. Wow, talk about winter interest. Besides pleasing us humans, native grasses provide food and shelter for birds, as well as acting as a host species for many of our skipper butterflies. I decided to use butterfly weed as our showstopper plant. This plant will be planted right in the front of the garden, front and center. I want to make a statement. It's theorized that monarch butterflies read the stars while migrating from the forests of Mexico to New England. Each new generation along the journey feeds only on the milkweed plant. What beautiful animals, butterflies who can decipher the language of the heavens to see a road map in the stars. It's nothing short of pure magic. The monarch butterfly relies on the stars to find home in the milkweed plant as nourishment. Perhaps we can learn from these relationships, plant and butterfly as teacher. Humans have the amazing ability to shape the land, to have a relationship. With gardens, we can make it a good one. It's time to lay out your garden plants in the design that you want. Don't make this too complicated. Don't feel pressure about trying to make it a perfect design. This is about you having fun and you having a relationship to nature. After planting, be sure to give your new garden a good drink. Even the most drought-tolerant plants need supplemental water during their first year of growth. I'm not the biggest fan of mulch, but I believe mulch should be used for the first 2 or 3 years of your new garden. Mulch can help regulate soil temperature, retain soil moisture, and help with weed control. Eventually, your garden should fill in enough and cover any bare ground, so you do not have to rely on any more outside inputs. I got this mulch for free from a local tree care company who was more than happy and willing to deliver it to me. I decided to use the mountain mint in drifts to weave in and out of the other plantings to create that continuity. The goldenrod will get about 3 to 4 feet tall and will be one of the largest things that I planted in this garden besides the bayberry shrub. So I decided to put it on the opposite side of the bayberry shrub. The hope is that this will create a sense of balance in this native plant garden. The little blue stem grass is planted in the back of the garden. I believe it will serve as the perfect backdrop to this native plant garden, blending a sense of wildness with formality. This is what I was talking about when having fun, experiment, play. It's your garden. And of course, the butterfly weed, front and center, with the hopes of feeding many generations of star-reading butterflies, and hopefully inspiring a few people too.